All right, we'll call this regular monthly meeting, August 24, 2021 to order. Happy to see you all tonight. I never thought I'd say that, but I'm happy to be here with you all tonight. I feel like I've not seen you in a while. But,
it's different over the phone, isn't it?
It's good to be back with you, everybody, and I'm glad everybody's here and healthy and doing good. Let's go to the Lord's Prayer here before we start. Heavenly Father, we come before you as humbly as we know how. I ask your blessing over this meeting. I ask your blessing over this community and this county. I ask you to be with us as we make decisions for the county. I ask you to be with every household that's afflicted by illness right now in the county. Please be with them. Please be with our men and women overseas in Afghanistan. Dear Lord, please just bless our country and our state and our county. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Ron, you might lead the pledge.
Face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have item number 3, a large packet of minutes. As you can see, we had a workshop in April, May, and June, in public hearings on July 27th, and our meeting on July 27th. Are there any issues to address on the minutes that we have to approve?
I have some with the April 30th and the July 27th with the other one.
Okay.
The regular meeting, July 27th.
Well, maybe for expediency, do you want to maybe make a motion to approve the ones we approve of, and then we can take up, that way we can get some approved? So
Yeah.
you said April 30th?
I'll make a motion for the May 11th, 2021 budget workshop, the July 8th workshop, and the public hearing July 27th. Those minutes, I make a motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion to approve the minutes of the workshop of May 11th, the workshop of July 8th, and the public hearing of July 27th. Is there a second? I'll second that. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye as well, Madam Clerk, unanimous. So we have issues or concerns for the July 27th meeting minutes and the April 30th workshop minutes. Go ahead, Mr. Peters.
Okay, and we'll start with the first one, April 30th. Page 6, I seem to recall there, were you able to resolve anything with that?
Teresa and I talked about it earlier, but we've not got anything changed yet.
But you know, am I right? Were there issues, or were you?
We've not went back and verified yet.
Okay, well, I seem to remember there was a red Mustang that was important to the discussion of our budget that was mentioned in the meeting on page.
What are you talking about, Ron? Where's the red Mustang?
On page 6, when Mike Yates was in here.
I'm on page 6.
And we got into his red Mustang. And then on page 10, there was a discussion, I think it was on one of your citizens, Peggy,
Where's that at?
Rayburn's Tower, and I think what I didn't see in there was we had kind of determined that it was probably Hillcom property, the road, the gravel going up there. And I thought we should mention that, because isn't that how we had to go through to resolve that?
It is, we pulled the lease.
Yeah, because that's what the discussion led to. And then,
So, we didn't purchase a red Mustang, Mike.
what's that?
What was the red Mustang? We didn't purchase a red Mustang or anything.
Yeah, it's not mentioned there, but it was discussed in our meeting.
Who bought a red Mustang?
Mike Yates, you asked
Well,
him about it.
That's just his personal Mustang. That had nothing to do with anything. I think it was
So-
more like a
Oh,
joke or
so you
something.
don't, okay, but for some reason that became part of our budget discussion.
It's not here. I don't see why that, I don't.
Well, because it's not, that's the point, it wasn't put in the minutes, but it was stated in the meeting.
So you want the...
Stated that I said he had a red Mustang?
What's that?
You want it stated that I said he had a red
Well,
Mustang?
you had some issue with his red Mustang, and
I
I
have
didn't
no
quite
issue
understand.
with, that's silly. I have no issue with
you-
Mike Yates having a red Mustang, that's his business, personal business.
Am I wrong?
It was said in the meeting.
Yeah, and Mike and her went back and forth on it.
Do you make a motion that we
Not in
amend?
a
Yeah, I make a motion
disagreeable
we amend the
way.
minutes.
Oh,
Mr.
my
Attorney, how does
goodness,
that-
you're
I
so
mean,
silly sometimes,
Maybe
Ron.
if you, tell the board what Robert's rules and what the code says about approval of the minutes? Because it doesn't have to be a verbatim summary.
It doesn't. Under the code, it requires a call to order with date and time, the presence or absence of each member, approval of agenda, approval of minutes, motion, second, and/or approval of action items to include substitute motions and votes, entering closed session with appropriate reference to the Virginia Code, and adjournment.
So off-topic dialogue doesn't necessarily need to be included in the written minutes.
This was actually a dialogue that went back and forth between the two individuals.
It does not. However, if it's something that's pertinent to the action item, then I think at that point that it.
I mean, in the interest of transparency.
Is this pertinent to the action item, or was it just her talking?
Just me talking
Well,
off the top of my head, I didn't know what it was
It
about.
seemed to me like there was a Mike was trying to illustrate that we are the ones that have to balance the budget. And for some reason it got into his Mustang, and I didn't understand that.
Did you hear that, Teresa? Did you record that about the Mustang?
It's on the recording, but I didn't write it.
Because it
See,
wasn't-
we were just talking back and forth, there was no
All
kind
right, do
of,
you believe this
challenging.
accurately reflects the pertinent action items from the meeting?
yes, I do.
All right,
I
do you want to make a motion we
think
approve
it's
the
downright
minutes?
silly what he's brought up.
Do you want to make a motion to approve the minutes?
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve
All
the
right, I'll
minutes.
second that because based on I know what you're talking about, but as far as the law is concerned.
Well, what about, you didn't address the second one?
Is there another one on
Page
that?
10.
So was there another?
Rayburn Tower, we,
On
just
April
for
30th.
future reference, so we know that's Hillcom's property.
Madam Clerk, do you remember what was said on, I
It
don't,
was discussed.
What?
I just know it was discussed.
Yeah,
The road.
and we kind of zeroed in and figured out it's not our responsibility, it's the owner of the tower is Hillcom. I just wanted there for,
but that doesn't, I think you're doing that now. I don't know that we need to
We're talking
modify
about
anything
Ravens
here.
Road.
But the thing of it is, isn't there a tower up there?
There is a
that,
tower up there.
The sheriff's department maybe uses.
it's Hillcom's.
It's Hillcom. Okay, I'm
Yes, and
sorry.
that was what was clarified in the meeting.
All right, we have a motion, and I'm going to second that we approve the budget workshop meeting minutes of April 30th. I'll ask for a roll call vote on that, Ms.
I'm going to do a second motion that we
Okay.
just wait and let Teresa go ahead and type those in. And I'll make a motion to that effect.
So we have a
that-
substitute motion. Is there a second to Ms. Willis's substitute motion? That we wait for her to type in
The red Mustang,
the red Mustang?
Yeah,
Okay.
and also the discussion on the gravel, I guess.
Okay, so we have that substitute motion. Is there a second?
I'll second her, so.
All right, Ms. Willis?
I vote yes on the substitute motion.
Okay, Ms. Slus?
No.
Ms. Kaiser?
Yes.
Mr. Peters?
Yes, in the interest of transparency.
All right, I vote no, so it's 3-2, so Madam Clerk's going to correct the April 30th. Now, what about the,
regarding the Mustang and the gravel, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
okay.
Then the other motion, or the other concern I had, I better shut this off before it goes off. The other issue I had was, the regular meeting July 27th on page 20, I think, Rhonda, you stated,
Bear with me just a minute, let me.
Why,
catch up
where
with
you at?
you.
Well, let me wait just a minute.
What
Ron.
page in the,
well, now, you're not
Are
gonna read this in there, it's something missing.
okay, what word in the
So it's
context?
on page
Now, and
20.
I'm not, and I need to clarify, I'm not sure if it was you, Rhonda, or Shelby, when we got in it, we were in the middle of the discussion with Berner on what was going on and stuff, and he was concerned about lunch being bought for Rita's office, and you or Shelby, I think it was you, Rhonda, stated, no, we bought it for the truck shop, and that's not reflected in the minutes.
Okay, so what's your motion?
And then the other thing, and then the other thing is, and this really amazes me, because I read the newspaper article, and personally, I don't buy the newspaper, because I know it's not very credible when I read things and things are kept out of it all the time. But I happen to have one because my brother-in-law left one at the house, and it had me quoted in there many times on something we're gonna discuss later tonight. And I find it amazing that they didn't even bother to tell the whole front half where you explained, Mr. Barton, that we now know there was $2 million surplus in the school budget.
Ron, with all due respect, what does that have to do with this?
It's part of the minutes. He stated
okay,
he stated.
which
On
part?
page, that one's on page 21 when we discussed the school stuff.
So you think, there's stuff that you said that is left out of the minute?
No, it's stuff that Larry said. our
That's Larry said that's
county
left out of the minutes, okay.
administrator. And you can, you know what said, Larry.
Right.
All right, so you
Yeah.
want, Madam, so we need a motion then to table, I guess, and allow her to add. There you go. So you want to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we table it and address those two.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Is there any further discussion?
Who made the motion?
I
Mr.
did.
Mr. Peters and Ms. Wills seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. All right.
Okay, that's all
Now,
I had.
item number 4, approval of agenda. I suggest, because we have some people we need to bring into closed session, my suggestion to the board would be to move 21 to 9, and then bump everything on down, if that would be pleasing to the board. That's just my
Now, and that
suggestion.
won't affect your phone call, Peggy?
I don't think
Does
so.
he
Okay,
have
so
a
we're
time
good. I
that you're
can't
supposed to call, or
remember.
we just call him whenever?
Okay,
So,
we're good, we're
He's
good.
currently on the line, but I can speak with him and let him know to call back.
Well, we can do it 10, whatever y'all want to do. Yeah,
Okay, let's do 10 then.
That's fine. So
That's the only reason I
We'll move
didn't remember.
21 after Mr. Mormon's, and then, so
Yeah.
it'll be, 21 will now become 10. Is that okay with the board?
And I think there's also some additions here, isn't there?
Yes, sir.
We're deleting 12.
So
we're
is
gonna do-
21 the closed meeting?
Yes, yes,
We're just gonna have it earlier?
yes, if that's okay with everybody.
It's okay with me.
Now you got 19A, B.
And why are we having it early?
Well, we have somebody we're bringing in just as a courtesy, and they're not sitting here till whenever. Mr. Mullins from the IDA is gonna be in with us.
They're gonna
I
be
mean, we
here in
don't have to
time?
do it, I'm just saying it's a,
Oh, Mr. Mullins was here.
Yeah.
I didn't see Fred.
do you have a concern about doing it that way, Ms. Williams?
No, I do not.
Okay. That's my, and I'm just saying, it's just,
I don't have a
I was just
problem with it.
confused why we were moving it so early.
It gets those.
it doesn't have to be that early, it's just my suggestion. All right, so is that okay?
I'm good with that. I'll make a motion, we approve the agenda with the changes of moving
21 to.
21 to item 10,
and then-
deleting 12, adding 19A, B, C, and item 21. We already,
On the
we were
agenda,
adding that
yeah.
too, so
Okay.
that's now 10.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
As well. All right, Mr. Martin, it's your turn.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Next on the agenda is the county administrator's report. And of course, with this being the report for July, it's our first month in the new fiscal year. The treasurer's office has been working very diligently this month, and as a matter of fact, we just got everything closed out for June today. We had some adjustments to make, so we do not have our July numbers yet. I will report July and August at our next meeting, if that's okay with the board.
Absolutely.
And I'll move on to item number 6 with expenditures. In item number 6 in our packet, for our general county fund for the month of July 2021, we had expenditures in the amount of $1,932,730.94. Our E911 fund expenditures were $67,147.94. Our coal and gas road improvement fund, $31,479.90. And lastly, our CARES funding, Federal CARES Act, is $158,187. And I'll entertain any questions that the board may have on this report or on any of the expenditures included in the packet
That's what you've already paid out.
for the month of July. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions?
I don't. I'll make a motion, we approve it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
As well. Madam
Thank you.
Clerk, motion passes. Move on to item 7, roads. Start with Ms. Wilson Kennedy.
Did we approve our expenditures
I think he did 5 and 6 together.
Okay.
What's that?
I think
Well,
I
wasn't
remember-
5 we had to wait on,
Yes,
Yeah,
I
option
have to
6,
wait this
right.
time.
so, yeah.
I think we're okay.
Who seconded that?
Miss Willis?
Well, I don't have anybody in Kennedy, but does anybody have a Kennedy thing report? I do. I've got a tree down. And they come to cut it out and it had a hornet's nest in it. And Bruce went and cut it out enough to the bus and he could get through, I think. But VDOT hasn't cut it out yet.
Are you ready? Is that good?
And I've called in several, Monday, drain pipes stopped up Monday. I was on the road early Monday and the drain pipes are terrible.
Are you
Go
done?
ahead, Mr. Chairman.
Miss Sluss?
Anybody from the Clintwood District? I noticed they were mowing. They mowed
We
down
need that.
Caney Ridge and then my part of Caney Ridge, and then they mowed on 83 West. They're down around 83. I made a visit to a place on Hill Ridge. A lady sent you, a man did, Mr. Newberry.
Miss Newberry, yeah.
Called it into Harmon, and hopefully they can get it patched. But anybody, I saw on Facebook where some people had put about where they have on 83, paved the sides, which I think's wonderful, because I'm bad to run off the side of the road, and when you overcorrect, it can cause a wreck. Some of them said it was a bicycle trail. Well, I'd hate for that to be a bicycle trail. But it's a really good thing they had done, and I'm really thankful for it.
Rhonda, I don't know where Don Lee is. Donald Clay. He was
Yeah,
at
he
Bruce's
lives in,
class reunion and he said he needed some gravel. And he tried to call you, but I told him that you've been gone.
well, Donald Clay, he might need gravel, but it's his driveway.
Oh, okay.
He
I
lives
didn't
right
know.
where you turn up Oscar's Gap. He lives right there in that nice, he keeps a real nice place. But I'll call Don and talk to
Yeah,
him.
he asked me at the class reunion.
Yeah, I know where Don lives.
And I told him that you've been gone at the office.
Yeah, I had been gone.
And I forgot to call him.
I'll talk to Don.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. Miss Kaiser? Irvington District?
Yep. Larry, you got concerns? Are you the spokesperson for Ailey Road?
Well, everybody's quit talking for some reason. Did
Uh-oh.
Kaylee give you your report for tonight? No.
I've had a few phone calls, but I've not had many, but there's
Kayla.
mowing and that, I'm like Rhonda, it's appreciated, but now there's a lot of places, and I took a couple pictures that don't look like they've done too good a job, but I guess working on it anyway.
Ron?
Anyone from Sand Lake District have any road issues? Richie, do you know of any? I'll mention something though real quick. I did call a couple in recently, but, and that's handled through VDOT because they were VDOT. But our truck shop was down 3 people and 2 part-timers, 3 full-time and that. So they're just now trying to catch up with some of the work in that. And they're out working. I'm having a difficult time with I have 2 major roads that are problematic. One of them we've never been able to address, and the other one is continuous, and they're out there working on it hard yesterday and today. So they're hitting them, and you just gotta bear with them. If it rains, it takes a while to regroup, because it's not good to use the grader and that when it's raining and stuff, if it's wet and that. But that's all I got.
Anybody from the Willis District? Hearing no one, I'll move on if that's okay with everybody.
I stopped down at VDOT office and visiting and talking with them, and they say that they're down to 12 employees now with retirements, and they've not heard back from the state to hire, so it may be even slower getting stuff done.
Yeah.
Lean, very lean.
Yeah. Okay. Excuse me.
All right, move on to item number 8, public
Oh.
comment. Go ahead, yeah, go
I
ahead.
need an alibi, and I've got a, well, I want to mention this because it's, I did have a call on a road that I managed to get it paved, repaved during this first term. It finally got repaved, and the very next year a storm hit and wiped it out. Little Lick's the name of the road. Recently, in the last few months, they replaced 8 culverts up on it, and they never repaved it or covered them very well, so they're now big divots. I got a call on that. And I reported it to VDOT, but I thought I'd mention that. There's been work going on, like I think you mentioned it, the drain pipes and that, but they've got to get back and cover this stuff up too.
They're over on Priest Fork working,
Yeah.
which is my district.
But I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
That's all right.
That's all.
Okay, move on to item number 8, public comment. The floor is open for public comment as well as the phone line. The phone number is 276-333-0357. If you'd like to make a remark, I believe that number is scrolling on our live feed as well. You'll have 3 minutes to talk. I just ask that you please address yourself to the board, identify your name and address, and you'll be given 3 minutes to speak.
Can I hand out something, or how do I hand it out?
You can give to Ms. Clerk there, and she can pass it around probably.
Well, today was a really hot day, it was
Yes,
95
ma'am.
degrees. And I have some comments that are wrote up, and it's pretty important, and I think in a way that we have to make some changes, and think of things in a new way. The UN issued code red warning for humanity because of climate change. Years ago, I used to talk about ice melting, and now the ice continues to melt. Huge shelves breaking off, raining on glaciers where it never has before in history. But we now have tremendous fires. My brother said the fire in Siberia equals all the other fires on Earth, such as in our West, Morocco, Turkey, Greece, you name it. The fires in Siberia do not go out in the winter. It is burning the tundra, and that releases methane, or methane as English might call it, which is a tremendous greenhouse gas, and of course the carbon dioxide. So that's a major, major carbon sink being lost. The oceans are getting acidified. As the oceans acidify, you have to remember the plankton in the ocean, the algae, the plankton, make 70% of our carbon dioxide. The coral reefs, I think you all know that they are being damaged almost the world around. As I was looking at things, it says the Amazon forest is emitting more carbon dioxide, they think, than storing it. And it's because of the fires. It's because of the cutting those forests down and burning them so they can grow cattle and agriculture. And then if you look, there's science that's reporting the Gulf Stream may be slowing. And the circulation is really critical because it carries the heat to the north and it gets into circulation where that other currents bring the cold down. So that's a heat pump that we might lose. And if that Atlantic meridional overturning circulation is lost, it's the rainforest, it's the rain for our farming and things in our eastern part of the United States. They think that would have that effect. And I'm sure you heard of the Death Valley day type temperatures, 121 degrees in our northwest British Columbia, and that it cooked 1 billion sea creatures. The city of Italy had a record 119 degrees. I didn't write in there what has happened to our crops in California and things. That's not my 3 minutes.
Yes, it is.
It is my 3 minutes.
Go ahead and finish it.
Okay, but basically, a lot of things about the greenhouse things were known by the Koch brothers, much like the people that owned the cigarette companies knew what nicotine would do to people. But they used their big, big money to block by sowing doubt about science. That was one of the ways. And we didn't make any progress since about 1980s when we knew what might happen. I don't know if you guys know it, but the insect population is crashing around here. I have a degree in biology. Graduate record test, I made the best in the country, I guess, or wherever the region was. I didn't miss any questions. So when I was young, we could see whippoorwills come. This year, I noticed it's called the great speckled bird. It's the wood thrush. I hardly saw maybe one this year. I used to see dozens, in the yard and hear them sing. So another proof of insects being gone is we used to see a lot of grasshoppers if we went to the park. I think I've seen 1 or 2 grasshoppers this year. Or you'd see a mass of mosquitoes on the front of cars. I can go 200 miles and not kill an insect. It seems like. But I watched y'all's workshop, and I sort of had an idea of maybe trying to think how the county could do some things differently and work towards helping on reducing the carbon dioxide. Well, it's called working towards net zero. You have to get your households, I'm going to go solar. There's a few people going solar, but maybe if you can't do that, you can seal up your windows, use LED lights, wash in cold water, not waste food. There are a ton of things that can be done. And of course, gardens are important so that we aren't shipping food a long ways. If somebody has a big lawn, maybe they could plant some trees. And one really big thing that could help our county is the abandoned mine land reclamation, where that they do go in and, sort of rehab the place and plant trees and things like that. My idea is that the extension office could be a lead group, staff them up a little bit with the relief money, or when the infrastructure money comes, is to use some of that, because that group could educate people, the communities. Of course, Brad could work with the crops and things like that. And I just think another idea I had.
Ms. Carter, I don't mean to be rude. We went well past the 3 minutes. We've
Okay,
got a pretty heavy agenda.
Okay, if I could just conclude. I'm going to go solar pretty soon. Rhonda knows about solar.
Yes, I did attend.
Rhonda knows about solar. I'm going to
Mrs.
solar. I'm going to help my children go solar. They're going to skip the inheritance, do this stuff now. And if y'all could think of putting solar on a big building like this, I think that would be a good leadership,
Yeah.
Thank
you, Ms. Scardo. And you can always contact our administrator's office and get on the agenda possibly. And of course, Mr. Mullins' office is there at the library, but you know that. And so, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank y'all for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Geraldine.
Mr. Mullins, do we have any calls? Okay. Read the number again. It's 276-333-0357. Podium's now open for any other remarks by citizens.
He's supposed to call us before they come in.
I know.
First of all, I'm Bernard Fleming. If I ask a question, I'd appreciate if you'd wait till I get my 3 minutes before you answer it. But I'd like to know really what I said last week that was so offensive to the board. Because I cannot come up with anything that I said. The only remark that I made was to Josh, and I did apologize to Josh. But I've got a paper here where Judy Compton stepped in for Rita and wrote this great big letter. Did y'all get one?
I've seen it, yeah.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's asking me, to come in and make a public apology. That's not gonna happen. Just for her information, it ain't gonna happen. And which was on the, the subject of Rita. To give all this big stuff that Rita done, she must have really, Judy must have really scored some points on that. Now, she's talking about Rita being on that board so many years. If she was, I didn't know it. And I think when we first started the board, she got on there and she went to 1 or 2 board meetings, and that was it. But if she had stayed on that board all these years, I'd like to have known it. According to Judy Compton, she resigned the day after I made my comments up here. But I would like to, and Judy's is asking the board, our board, to vote me off of the board, you know. They need another representation there. You know, somebody to represent the food bank. I would like to invite you all, or any of you. I'll invite Judy Compton, Rita Surratt, anybody. We have a board meeting on the 7th of September at the new food bank at 1 o'clock. If any of them wants to come and try to get them to vote me off the board, have at it. Just come right on out and ask them to vote me off. If they want to do it.
7th, I believe. Did you say 7th?
The 7th of September at 1 o'clock in the new food bank. And she talked about you all also giving money for the truck. Now, Shelby, I apologize to you and thank you for that truck. The Board of Supervisors did not put up the money for that truck.
Exactly right. It came through
They
a grant.
put the donation in. I took that money and ordered that truck myself. $67,000 for that truck. And we had a little bit left over after that good generous donation. Did not come from the Board of Supervisors.
No, it did not.
No. And I don't know about how much the Board of Supervisors paid for the new building out there, but we had to wait over 3 months to move in because they air conditioned the upper part where they're going to do the voting, but they did not air condition the warehouse where we're going to keep the food. We had to wait over 3 months to get moved in there till we got funding to air condition that building. And we done it. We air conditioned it. Okay?
Quicker the better, Bernard. Appreciate you.
We got it. Now, y'all want to ask me a question or anything?
I don't have any question.
Okay. I might be back for the next one. I don't know. Depends on Judy Compton.
Public comment still open. 276-333-0357, phone number. Leave it open just a couple of more minutes. Mr. Mullins, is there anything? Okay. Y'all ready to move on? Make a
I
motion
make a
to,
motion that we close public comment.
is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. Item 9, Mr. Mormons, I believe we can go ahead and put him through, Adam, if you're ready. Mark, go ahead.
Can you, yes, okay, can you all hear me? Okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Great, I just want to make sure the screen on my laptop has gone dark, so I want to make sure the connection's still good.
It's still good.
I want to thank the board for allowing me to be a part of the meeting today. I just wanted to, as promised, give you some periodic updates on progress on the Trammel Community Revitalization Project. I will try to make my comments as brief as possible, but give you as much detail as possible at the same time. Please feel free to stop me at any point if you have any questions. I also want to bring several things to the attention of the board, but mostly I wanted to thank you for the opportunity, well, first for your support for all that we're doing, and for the opportunity to keep you updated. As of today, we have demolished and returned to green space 6 of the 13 blighted properties that we had targeted in phase 1 of this project. There are more blighted properties than that in the entire community, but we were targeting 13 for phase 1. However, in the course of me pursuing additional funds and thinking forward to the future beyond phase 1, we have officially applied for and been approved for funding outside of just the CDBG $1 million grant that we got, not only to remove the remaining 7 properties, but the rest of all the blight in Trammel. So that would be phases 1 and 2. And our goal is to have that accomplished by the end of this year, if at all possible. There are some administrative hurdles I've got to get through for those additional funds to be released, but that would be our goal. So that would include the company store, which is obviously the biggest one there, and all of the additional burned out, falling down, collapsed buildings, etc. We've also just completed, about 2 weeks ago, our very first of the 12 targeted properties, our first rebuilt home in Trammel. That was for Mary Charles, who is 85, is thrilled, and is also exhausted. If you haven't seen her home, her new home, I'm sure she'd love to give you a tour. She's told just about everybody, you can stop by and you'll get to see the home along with some fresh warm biscuits from her, I would guess. But they are beautiful homes if you haven't seen them. And I'm maintaining a website with pictures and things like that for anyone who's interested. Just let me know and I can furnish that link. We should be completed with our second home around this time or maybe a couple of days later than that next week. So we will have finished our 2 first total reconstructed homes. We have additionally also bid out and awarded the next 4 properties. One of those is a rehabilitation of an existing home where we're not going to tear it down and build a new one. We're actually going to just improve the one that's there, and the other 3 are reconstructions. Our hope is to have those next 4 completed this fall. If things don't get worse with the pandemic, hopefully it would be well before Thanksgiving. Of our $1 million grant to date, we have spent $219,566, and we have obligated an additional $66,635. By obligated, I mean we are under contract to pay that out as we complete work that's ongoing right now. With the additional 4 properties that we have bid out and awarded, we will be obligating an additional $417,987. So just to put things in perspective, when these 6 houses are completed, we will be approximately halfway done with all of what we targeted to do, but we will have spent approximately 2/3 of the project budget. And I'm going to talk a little bit more on that later, but I wanted to bring that to the attention of the board. I also wanted to say part of our goal when we started was to make every dollar count more than once. And what I mean by that is not just to benefit the residents of Trammel, but to benefit the county if at all possible. And so our goal was to spend as many dollars within the county, since we're going to have to spend those dollars anyway to help that community. Now, obviously, the COVID-19 pandemic has significantly affected both the cost of materials. Anybody who's been out there, I mean, a little over a year ago this time, you could buy a sheet of OSB. I did for $8.33. Today, you're looking at $45. That has hugely impacted our budget and the cost of getting these homes done. The availability of materials has also been very difficult, where lead times have gone from just a couple of weeks to sometimes 2 to 3 months or longer out. And the availability of qualified contractors has gone down. Despite that, our goal has remained to hire and buy local as much as possible. So now I will say, when we were first soliciting qualified contractors, I want the board to know we literally called every licensed contractor who would meet our criteria in all of Dickinson County. We basically pulled the licenses from DPOR website and called every one of them to ask them to apply to be a part of the project. Further, we had some discussion, if you remember, about conducting some lead certification training. We call all those people again to solicit them out to participate in that. I think at the time when we first started the project, we personally solicited at least 15 local contractors to bid on our first house, and we had 3 show up, and of those 3, only 2 bid. So I just want you to hear lots of efforts are being made to hire and to purchase there in the county. Now, that notwithstanding, I want to give you some idea of how successful we've been, because we've really worked with the contractor that we had hired for these first few homes to purchase and to employ locally as much as possible. 1/2 of the ownership of that first builder lives in Hayside, so half of their partnership is in the county. They hired a laborer from Hayside as well as 2 day workers directly out of Trammel. They also hired roofing help directly out of Trammel. They subcontracted to a drywaller and his crew of 4 from Clintwood. They subcontracted the demolition and excavation work out to another crew from Clintwood, which was another 4 people. They hired a painter and part of a cleaning crew directly from Hayside. They also hired Martin HVAC to do the HVAC work for these first 2 homes out of Klitschko, and they purchased the metal roofing directly from McClure. In all, as part of the work that's gone on so far, we have provided employment or gainful work for 16 people directly from the county. Those are people who've been paid with CDBG dollars, trying to help the Dickinson County economy as well as help Trammel. I will tell you, we have tried to source more materials locally, and unfortunately, in at least 3 or 4 cases, we've had to cancel orders that we've had with local building suppliers because the lead time went from several weeks to more than several months, or to we don't know when we're going to get it in. That was the result of COVID-19, and so we've had to purchase outside the county for some of those things, but we are still going back to those building suppliers because, again, we want to spend as many dollars in the county as possible. In addition, with the 4 new properties that we've bid out, the builder who's worked on these first 2, he won several of those. He was the low bidder on several. And for the other 2, we've hired Kermit Mullins, who is a local contractor out of Dickinson County. So, and he plans to similarly subcontract and use laborers, et cetera, people who are there and local. So I wanted to give you that information because I know sometimes you can drive by a home, you can see a wrap around a building that might have a different name on it than what you recognize in the county, but I want you to know that we're working diligently behind the scenes to make every dollar count for more than just a house, but for gainful employment or for purchases and businesses right there in Dickinson County. As I mentioned, we do have 2 significant challenges to our project right now. The biggest one, obviously, is the ongoing exorbitant increases in the cost of building materials that are driving us significantly out of budget. I am continuing to pursue additional funding sources beyond the CDBG monies. As you hopefully remember from other times that I've reported, I did secure 3 other funding sources so far. That is, the U.S. Department of Agriculture is giving us money, the Department of Mining, Minerals, and Energy through the Abandoned Mine Lands Reclamation Project is giving us some money, and FAHI, which is a housing group, a multi-state housing group, is also giving us some money towards the project. I've also applied for 2 congressional earmarks. That is part of the federal budget, but lobbied and presented by state senators through Mark Warner's office and Morgan Griffith's office, and both of them are very excited about the work we're doing here and going to see what they can do on our behalf. All of that said, you can't count your eggs until they've actually hatched. In my case, until you fry them in the pan. And so my current projection, unless we can find some more funding sources, is that for phase 1 of the project, we may not be able to complete all of the houses that we're hoping to and have targeted. That's not my goal. I am working diligently to make sure that is not the case. We're still far enough out that we've got some time, but I at least wanted to make you aware, and DHCD, the Department of Housing and Community Development for the state of Virginia, they are aware we're not the only project that's facing these same issues. It's a statewide issue, and they are aware, and I wanted you to be aware as well. The other significant challenge that we're facing with regard to the project has to do with what I call non-participating property owners in phase 1. That is, in the phase 1 project area, there are more properties than the ones that we're addressing. There are certain property owners that either didn't qualify to participate because their income level was too high or simply elected not to participate. Our goal is to change the face of the entire community so that it affects everyone. Those who participate, that is, who specifically say, yes, I want you to use grant money on my property, have to commit as part of a contractual agreement they make together with the county and with DHCD that they are going to keep up their properties, not just from a maintenance standpoint, but from a cleanliness and orderly standpoint, so that we don't have debris and cars and trailers and all kinds of stuff that still ends up lying around and spilling out into the road on other people's properties. Well, several of the non-participating property owners in particular, and I'm not going to mention any names, but anybody who drives through Trammel can't help but see it, have continued to accumulate stuff, and I say that with a capital S-T-U-F-F, that is growing in its footprint in the community. And frankly, it spoils the new aesthetic that we're working to create. I believe you all are aware, I know Ms. Kaiser and Mr. Barton were planning to bring it to the attention of the board that Virginia recently passed HB 1778, which allows for localities to pass ordinances to mitigate clutter and litter and debris on properties. And I understand that how to manage that at a countywide level is a complex issue. I know that's not simple. I know there's a lot of things that it touches and affects, and it's probably a sensitive issue for many, especially in a county that doesn't have any particular zoning ordinances that currently affects its residents. Nevertheless, I wanted to bring it to the attention of the board because we are going to need your help figuring out how to help the non-participating members of the Trammel community to at least clean up their properties and keep them in orderly shape so that it doesn't adversely affect all the money that we're spending to improve the entire community. What exactly that means, I don't know, and whether or not, HB 1778 might play a role in that, I don't know that either. But I think it's important enough that I wanted to bring it up, especially since Trammel is one of, if not the gateway community into Dickinson County. It's what people encounter. For most people, that access route, that's the way they get in. It's the way I come in all the time. And so it makes an impression. In any event, let me sort of pause there for a second. And are there any questions about anything that I've shared so far?
No, I don't believe so, Mark.
Okay. I hope this is helpful information. Again, I want to be as forthcoming
It is.
and helping everyone to know what we're doing. I will tell you, I'm personally very excited that we've been able to gainfully employ 16 people, and I think, again, that number is just going to go up as we've added another contractor who is local to Dickinson County. So I'll continue to keep you apprised as I have more updates. And I certainly welcome any feedback that anyone may have. Hopefully you've got my contact information. If not, you can certainly reach me through either Peggy Kaiser, who has been outstanding as the supervisor for, that includes Trammel, as well as Larry Barton. I will also mention, it's just a side comment that has nothing to do with Trammel, but I know that the woman who was speaking before talked about solar. I will say I am actually working on another project that People Inc. is involved in, specifically trying to leverage solar technology as an economic stimulus for the Coalfield region and the 8 counties that make up the Coalfield region, including Dickinson. And what we're doing, among the many things that we're trying to do, because we're looking at manufacturing, we're looking at installations, we're looking at government and policy, it is trying to make solar more accessible and affordable to the average person, because I understand it's still expensive. So if that's something that interests anybody in Dickinson County, either for government buildings or for personal residences, I want to encourage you, please reach out to me about that as well. I would be happy to help you in any way I can to make that a reality and make that a part of our efforts to improve the economy here. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
You bet. Thank you.
Peggy, do you have anything to add on that, or?
No, I mean, the people in Trammel are excited. They was real anxious for it to get underway, or for a house to get underway, and seem to be moving forward. I have made numerous of trips up there, tried to get information and help people to get their Social Security records and everything, trying to help people out for their project. And just glad to see Trammel moving forward.
I am too, but I think the big obstacle they have is that House bill, what did he say, 1178?
Mm-hmm.
That's something this board's gonna have to figure out how we're gonna, I don't know how, I know what he's talking about, that piece of, that man that owns this making, it seems like he's spreading more and more
But does the House bill mandate us to do anything, or does it give us the leverage?
I was
to
trying
do
to look it
something?
up right
It
there.
just gives us the option to create a local ordinance.
Yeah, we know what that's gonna end up as.
We know that's gonna cause a lot of,
Yeah, because you can't really leverage it for one section
No.
without it being a county.
I would love
Well,
to see
and it
it.
should be, but we know how that'll go.
We know how that will bring out everybody, but I would like to see it.
We can't get sewer pipes out of the river, so.
Well, it is a problem. I know we have the church, Puther Chapel, 1 mile up the ridge, and I think we have a nice facility. We got a regular, and that lady is related to me. We got a regular car junkyard right looking us in the face. And, you know, I scratch my head wondering, what can we do about this? You know, I don't know why people do this. People will say, oh, that's in your family. Yes, it is in my family. And it is embarrassing to me.
All right, are we ready to move on?
That code section.
Peggy, you've done a good job on that. I know you've put a lot of time and legwork, so it is looking better. So we'll go on to closed session that we modified there. Is there a motion to
I'll
go
make a
into
motion
closed session?
pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A8, Section 2.2, 3711A8, consultation with legal counsel, schools.
You got the one on the.
And then
other
the
part wrong.
A5 as well, we're on.
Oh, what's that?
You got another
On the
one
back of your agenda
21.
sheet.
Oh, okay, I didn't realize that was, sorry about that. And then
Got two.
pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2, 3711A5, Section 2.2, 3711A5, economic development, prospect and update.
Is there a second or
He's not here.
Second.
any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. Madam Clerk will now be in closed session. All right, do I hear a motion to come out of closed session?
So move.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye as well. Is there a motion to certify
I
discussions?
certify pursuant to Virginia Code that we only spoke about items pertaining to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A8, Section 2.2-3711A8, consultation with legal counsel on schools, and then pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A5, Section 2.2-3711A5, economic development, prospect and update.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second it.
Okay, Ms. Willis, how do you vote on that certification?
Aye.
Ms. Sluss?
Yes.
Ms. Kaiser?
Yes.
Mr. Peters?
Yes.
Yes for me as well, Madam Clerk. Are there any votes coming out of closed session?
I make a motion that we approve the budget for the carryover to go back to the school.
I will second it.
Discussion,
And for,
I wanna just mention that when I made the motion previously, wanting to hold back money to help our children that may need computer access during this COVID that's starting to crop back up. The reason that was is because we knew by looking at the budget lines that they had in excess of $2 million in surplus. We only really agreed to the 1.034 million, so that's all. I don't have just wanted to make the statement.
do we need clarity on the amount, Mr. County
I
Administrator?
can share this letter for the record. The school had sent a letter for year ending June 30th, 2021, showing total revenue and balances of $28,600,760.44. Total expenditures, $27,415,556.67. And the school board is asking to carry over the following unexpended state funding, not state, but GED testing funds, $12,299.66. Textbook funds, $191,199.12. Dolly Parton Imagination Library, $24,041.12. And then the operational budget carryover, $957,663.87. For a total unexpended balances of $1,185,203.77. That's the amount that they're
And how
asking to
much,
carry over.
Larry, did they pay in addition that was like next year's bills?
Next year, by looking at their budget from, their approved budget was approximately $772,500 approximately.
So that would mean roughly 1.7 million
Yes, sir.
is what their real overage was.
Yes.
Okay.
In addition, so we have almost a $1.2 million carryover, and the school system was able to pay, even before this carryover amount, almost $263,000 in SunTrust debt.
That was retired. They paid 2 payments.
Correct.
in
That didn't go to
So they made
benefit,
next year's payment.
didn't go to benefit children that we can see it's from a demolished school.
Yes.
But they had money to go ahead and pay for that.
They
correct.
did, and next year's payment's still in the budget.
And they
for
had
next
money
year
to go ahead and pay $110,000 in property liability insurance.
For VACOR.
And they had $70,000 almost to go ahead and pay fiscal year '22 workers' comp liability insurance. So, and there's several other items that they were able to prepay for the fiscal year '22 year. And it's our analysis and our county administrator's analysis, they should have adequate money to pay teachers, pay aides, pay custodians,
They
pay
retiree
them,
healthcare
buy
plans.
buses, pay retiree health plans, almost $600,000 in prepaid bills that they should be able to properly compensate teachers and anybody else that benefits the children of Dickinson County. And I'm proud that they're able to do that. So any teacher or aide or custodian or bus driver that feels they need additional money, the school system should have that money. I'm not sure how $263,000 of debt payments to a heating and cooling system for a destroyed school, how they had that amount of money to do that. I'm glad they did, but they certainly should have money to compensate the people that touch our children every day. So any questions about money, any issues about compensation need to be directly asked of the school board and their administration, as far as I'm concerned. So your motion, we have a motion to let them carry over $1,185,000 and some change. That's the motion and second by Mr.
Second
Peters
by
and Ms.
Rhonda.
Kaiser. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. All right, so it takes us back to what would be originally 10, but is now 11, the fair committee. What do we have on that, Mr. Barton? I thought we'd kind of ironed that out, but we need some kind of,
That's that $1,800 thing, ain't it?
Yeah,
It is, that's really gonna fall under the ARPA request
Yeah.
that we
so we
have.
need to pass that, or?
There was some discussion, or some concern about who made up the fair committee, and I think that, we got
oh, okay. Well, that's not mine. I mean, you guys may want to look at whether your member's on there still.
that. We've had some folks, Shelby, I think yours was
Mine,
on,
resigned.
Who is my Irvington one on there?
that is Phyllis Mullins.
She's resigned.
Yeah.
What, they resigned from?
She resigned from that too?
My
Fair
understanding.
committee?
We have Stanley District, Delmer Branham, Kennedy District, Lester Hill, Irvington District, Phyllis Mullins, Willis District, Chandra Mullins, Fleetwood District, Rita Surratt, and 2 at large, Melanie Baker and Jack Stanley.
You guys may want to take note who your person is and then just verify they're still on the job. And because I'm
I
not
would
sure
like to
who's,
move
I'm not sure
my
who's attending
Jack
the meeting.
Stanley up to the Kennedy District and not be at large.
What's that, Shelby?
I would like to move Jack up to Kennedy District and, not at large.
So right now, the fair committee, as it stands, Mr. Thelma Branham, which it says Sand Lake, but he's actually in the Willis District,
Yeah.
so I don't know about that, but.
Well, I
And
chose.
there's a vacancy in the Kennedy, Phyllis Mullins in the Irvington, Chandra Mullins in the Willis, and Miss Surratt, Rita Surratt in the Clintwood. So you have to, you want to place Mr. Stanley from at-large to the Kennedy District Representative?
Yes, please.
Is that I mean, I don't see a problem with that. So is that a motion?
I make that in form of a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. Now, we also have the committee that Ms. Mullins talked to us in the workshop last week. The way I understand it, it looks as if each member of the official committee that's under the Board of Supervisors, each of those members is on that committee, so I don't see any issues or anything else to address. I think the only question would be for Mr. Barton is when we do, assuming we do, if we do, when we get to item 13, when we appropriate money, it's actually going to, we really need these 5 members to be the ones that spend that money. That's who we're going to appropriate it to, technically,
Right.
right?
For the
So
official
you're
fair
not
committee.
appropriating it to the fair committee that's, I guess the, Allison is the what? The-
Well, that's a good point, and I think.
Now, where are we gonna appoint? We'd have to give it to somebody at 501.
It would have to be,
Well, I think that's the ones looking at the agenda, they've made ARPA requests for
$300 for that.
money to do that. So I think we would table the bigger requests until they're actually able to
it'd be
legally
a cleaner way to do it, I
organize.
think.
So I think at this time, probably what would be prudent is since we moved Mr. Stanley to the Kennedy is maybe put Miss Mullins on as an at-large member. I think that probably would clean things up some, since it appears she's gonna be the one that is managing this thing.
Now, who's this?
Allison,
Allison.
put her in Jack's at-large position.
Well, I'll vote no.
Well, I'm not making, I can't make the motion, but doesn't that make sense, though? I mean, to make
Well,
her
makes sense.
a
She's
part of the
handling-
official committee?
Yeah.
She's handling everything.
So does somebody want to make that motion?
I'll make that
She
motion.
said, I'll second it. I
So the
think-
motion would be to put Miss Allison Mullins Oakwin, Allison Mullins Oakwin in the at-large vacancy that now exists by
Well,
Mr.
can she hold that position, plus she is the chairman that was elected in Charles Hayes' place. What was his title?
Well, nobody knows, because this
What's
is
that?
What
Charles
was
Hayes.
Charles's title to the fair?
Oh, he was originally the
president.
chairman, yeah.
But
Well,
he's not-
that's what Allison is.
But he's
Yeah.
not on, this is what matters.
But you see,
No.
they had one in between there. Matt Owens was in after Charles. And Matt Owens stepped away, so now they,
This is a committee that we chose to work with the fair, chairman, what they call him.
Well, here can we, you just
Then-
made a fair committee. This
No.
is your committee.
No, we made this committee to work with the elected officials that, the fair chooses.
Well, this is the fair committee, though. I'm
No.
not trying to argue with you, I'm just saying.
No, we chose this one to work with Charles Hayes and those people that were.
On that other list that you
I
got?
know,
Yes.
well, whatever.
well, the only ones we chose were who's on that letter right there,
Well,
right?
that's what I'm
Yeah, but
saying.
they were to work with the other fair committee. There
Well,
was another fair committee.
that we didn't
Well-
appoint, all I'm worried about is the one that we've appointed that we're technically responsible
So
for.
I'm saying Allison was elected
By
to
who?
the chairman of the fair committee at another meeting.
Yeah, but I think, Shelby, I think what it was is that kind of dissolved with our committee.
Well, that's what I would
And our committee
hope,
took over the
'cause you want-
501c, but now there's other members they've got that they've added.
We're doing this the right way. The right way is how we've done it. We've got a committee that this board has formed, that we've appointed members to. So if we're wanting to make sure that the money's spent appropriately, we need to make sure it's gone through this official committee. Now, this committee can then, allow this committee to do organizational things or whatever, but this official committee that we're appointing needs to be the ones that are responsible for the money that we appoint. We can hold them somewhat accountable. I think we're going in the right direction. We're getting bogged down here, and you see what I'm saying?
Mr. Chairman, that makes sense, and I think from what Ms. Mullen shared at the workshop, the folks on this list here, lots of times they're assigned like to one area, like they're responsible for,
So
take
what,
care of this area.
this
fair,
committee
so-
needs to meet and hold some kind of organizational meeting.
Yes.
And they can delineate what this committee
What
does.
they would be doing.
But if we're appropriating
What kind
money,
of
we need to make sure it's to
committee
this
does the
committee.
fair have that they organize the
Do what?
fair? What kind of committee?
Well, they basically,
Because
was-
Allison has already been appointed as that person.
yeah, but
But this is our
presumably by the
committee.
committees she was appointed, that the committee that we have, but here's the thing. When you go back to what it was basically everyone they thought would work real hard, they yanked out of the Kiwanis Club. So predominantly it was the Kiwanians that were running it, you know? And Charles was a big Kiwanian and he ran it.
And then
And
this
the
guy
dog-
that was with her was the Branham, Billy?
Yeah, Billy Branham's the groundskeeper for the fairground and the Kiwanians.
Mr. Sturgill, this board's created this committee, and what I'm trying to emphasize, I don't know what's so confusing about it is, if we're gonna appropriate money, this is a formally created committee with formally appointed members that we have oversight over. And it's obvious that Ms. Mullins is gonna be the one doing the legwork. She should be
Yeah.
on the committee, that way we have checks and balances, oversight, and this committee is under this board. Is that a fair statement? I mean,
I think that absolutely is a fair
and
statement.
that's
because-
probably the best
And-
way to do this.
and here's the
And
thing,
then this committee can do whatever, but when we're giving money, this is what we've created, or you all created, and we're dealing with it. I mean, that just seems to make more sense to
And
me.
Allison always,
not
I mean,
disagreeing
she
with you.
stated that she only was doing this year. So,
Yeah, I
I
know.
mean, this
I know.
may,
But she's gonna do a lot of work, and I think it just makes everything easier if the person
And-
doing all the work
Just put
is
her on it.
officially
Some board
appointed.
supervisors.
I know.
Yeah.
And here's the thing,
I still hope
when we appointed this committee, we already knew the 501c3 was dead. Now, it hasn't moved from that status, because she briefed us, and they need to get working on that.
So we have Ms. Kaiser's motion to fill the now existing vacancy of the at-large appointment that Mr. Stanley held. Is there a second to
I
Ms. Kaiser?
seconded it, I think.
Yeah, you
Any
did.
She did.
further discussion? So when we, in the future, whether it's tonight or whenever it may be, when we appropriate monies, it's going to be to these 6 people's committee and their responsibility to spend and account for that money. That's what I want to make clear. And that's for another vote. But, so we have Ms. Mullins. All those in favor of her filling Mr. Stanley's vacancy on the at-large, please say aye. Aye. Did you vote no?
I vote no.
So it's 4-1. All right.
It's Allison Oaquin though, isn't
Allison
it, for the
Mullins
books?
O'Quinn.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we have a MOU, Mr. Barton, with the Southwest Regional
Yes.
Recreation Authority.
Moving on to item number 11, the MOU. We passed this a couple months ago, and when Spearhead was working with DEQ on this agreement, there's a couple little minor changes that they had in there. Our building official has reviewed this, as has Mr. Sturgill, and they're okay with the changes that's in there, so we're just asking for formal approval with the changes.
Is there any motions to approve the MOU?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. And then we have item 13, American Rescue Plan funding, and I think Ms. Willis had suggested that we only consider tonight, and I think it's good. We have a bunch of new requests, so I think the prudent thing, of course, it's up to the board, but what I think would be good is, if we're gonna vote tonight, let's just vote on the things that we previously met on at our workshop, and then maybe schedule another special meeting for the new requests that we got tonight, or yesterday. Just any requests that we got since our workshop meeting, table those, and only vote on the ones that we were
There's
talking
one
about.
exception I want to make there.
That's just my suggestion.
No, I understand, but we got a request from Quinchgo Fire Department for the air bottles. Now, that was out of the new, I didn't know that was coming, but the one that we got from Hayside tonight, that's something that was told a year and a half ago, and they got these bottles going dead September.
Next month.
Yes, next month, so we need to get that done.
So to clear the
We
record,
voted that.
I think we need to probably do these one at a time. So if, the floor is open for motions to make appropriations for our ARPA funds. Madam,
Mr. Chairman, would you want me to go through each
or however you
request
want to do, I
See if
think
someone makes a motion, or how do you want to do it?
right now, Will, as parliamentarian, I'm going to relinquish the chair to Ms. Kaiser for the purposes of making a motion.
Sure.
So, Madam Chairman, I'm going to make a motion that we appropriate $30,000 from our ARPA funds to pay our deputies that are not covered under the comp board $3,000 payment that's coming from the General Assembly. I think we have, I believe, what was the count? 10, and that's our SROs, 3 of them, and then 7 other non-comp board deputies that I want to make sure they get the $3,000 stipend that their comp board counterparts are going to get. And we researched this, this is an acceptable appropriation to pay from these funds that $3,000 stipend, and I'd like to make that motion.
So-
I may be jumping the gun,
This
but I'd like to
wasn't
make
one
a
of those
counter
that we
motion.
discussed?
I believe it was. I'm
We
not-
didn't discuss it, they just, I'm
No,
for
that's
it,
a-
but I don't
that's
think
one
we
of the new
discussed
ones.
it.
Well, I want to make the motion anyway. I thought we did.
Do you need a second first? Because I have a counter motion to this.
Okay, well, I can
Yeah.
make a substitute motion. That's my
Okay,
motion.
a substitute motion, but,
Okay.
I'll wait, should we do it after the second, Will?
Yeah, there should be
So-
opportunity for a second.
Yeah,
And it may fail for lack of a second.
yeah, I'm not trying to diffuse what you're doing. So, did someone second your motion?
I'll second it.
Madam
Oh,
Chair.
okay, I didn't hear you,
Okay.
I'm sorry. Then I make a counter motion that we, I'm looking at this as COVID is a danger to everyone still. Because we've got vaccines, most of our workers do, at this point in time. But we still don't have vaccines for our children and grandchildren, so we theoretically are carriers of it and can be carriers of it and take it home. So all our employees are in danger. So my counter motion is that we Give it to all our employees.
Is that I mean, can we? I think the context of this is the General Assembly voted.
I understand.
For each deputy, jailer, and I think corrections officer to get a one-time $3,000.
And I'm not against that. I'm not against that, but I'm leaning forward here and saying, you know what?
So, Ronnie,
We'd
is your
already leaned
motion
forward
made
last
to
year.
give every employee $3,000?
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah, 'cause
Won't we
they're-
be broke?
Runs the
Well, can we
numbers
do
on it,
that
so-
though? If
Well, as far as
Yeah, we
looking
did
at.
it.
I know we
Lunchtime.
researched the.
We can pay retroactive hazardous duty pay, it would have to be deemed hazardous duty pay.
He's talking about taking it out of.
Well, I mean, we're
CARES
playing
Act
rent,
again.
we're paying it
Same
to
same thing as the
the.
sheriff, it'd be the same qualification.
Yeah, it's the same, because they're not comp board funded, and I do agree that we have to pay that. Because they'll just cause squabbling for Jeremy in the sheriff's office, so we need to, but I'm just looking at this. We gave it to all the employees last time. I'm just jumping ahead because it's, you know, because theoretically, the big threat now for those that are vaccinated is you can carry it home. You can too. All of us can.
Like I said, the context of mine is that the General Assembly's given these comp board deputies, not everybody, not treasurers or
I know, but you're
commissioners
asking
or.
for us to make allowance for the other ones that are employees.
Well, I'm saying
General Assembly's already done
The
it.
comp, yeah, the General Assembly's already done it, and the comp board guys are getting it no matter what we do.
I know that. I
So
know
you've got a
that.
motion, so I guess is there a
Yeah.
second?
Now, wait a
saying.
second, let me discuss this. I want to discuss Ron's motion. When we say employees, we're talking about behavioral health, we're talking about DSS, we're talking about PSA employees.
And we never did behavioral health last time.
We didn't, and we got requests from DSS just for certain employees.
But we
And we
ended
didn't
up
ask
doing them
how
all.
many homes those employees went into, and it was very few. But we gave them $1,000. We gave the other employees $500.
Yeah. Now, if you want to reduce it in some amount or something like that, that's fine with me.
I
I'm
think
just saying.
there's no urgency.
Yeah.
Here's just my suggestion. We vetted this, the sheriff.
That we gotta do. I'm not trying to.
What
not
if,
do
here's what if
motion
we do, because the General Assembly's paying the comp board deputies regardless.
now. Yeah, and we got it.
And my motion was, which is not on the floor now, but my motion was to go ahead and make sure we pay
Yep.
the non-comp board deputies. Why don't we do that? And
Okay.
then we can,
Mr. Chairman,
well, I'm
then,
not chairman right now, but yeah. I
well,
know.
anyway, you're making a difference between those are county employees. We pay all their salaries. Am I correct? We pay all of the.
Well, no,
Yes, yes,
I guess so,
yes.
yeah, if they're not comp board.
Okay,
yes.
they're our employees.
Right, you're right.
So you're selecting out 3 employees?
Well, 10, I guess.
10? Ooh. You're selecting out 10 employees.
But I guess my analysis is the guy let's say there's a road deputy. You have non-comp board road deputies, right? So that road deputy's doing the same job as the guy that's getting the 3,000. I mean, that's what my
But
analysis.
they're our employees. We're funding them 100%.
I think I made this too
I
messy.
think it would be a hard.
Yeah,
Let
you
me,
did.
let me resend
Yeah, you did.
let me resend my motion, and let's finish Josh's first. So let's,
But I don't want you, I know what you're saying, but what I'm saying is, you got one road deputy that's comp board that's gonna get a $3,000 check. You got one deputy who's not gonna get a $3,000 check.
Make them mad.
Now, how is that? I mean,
It's
I
gonna
don't,
make a mess. And then you got other employees that's gonna say, well, why did I not get $3,000?
I
well, they would
rescinded
have to
my
ask the
motion.
General Assembly that.
I-
General
or
Assembly want to pick
substitute
this,
motion.
pick the police
If the
officer.
General
I did it
Assembly
wrong.
was
I
gonna give
withdraw,
us
I withdraw that.
Well, they should.
No, you say what you were
No,
doing.
no, no, I withdraw my motion, and I'll take the chair back, I guess. I withdraw my motion.
You don't want to proceed with this? I was
Well, I'll
never,
make a motion that we, if he don't want to make the motion, I'll make the motion that we, give $30,000 to the sheriff to pay for their county employees that are not comp employees.
I'll second.
I
Then
think if
we'll
we
do a roll
not,
call
What are you
vote.
gonna do with your other
well,
employees?
we'll get that down the road there a little bit. We're not through with COVID by no, by no.
Mr. Bart, when will those three, do we know from Richmond when the $3,000 stipends will hit?
We have not been given direction from the comp board yet. I was suspecting September, but I think our sheriff's thinking maybe October. Have you heard anything?
October 1st is what I'm thinking.
I
October
think we've got
1st.
plenty of time to vote on this.
So we got the motions on the floor.
We have a motion and second. And just to be clear for everyone, the Virginia General Assembly voted to give all comp board, sheriff's office workers and deputies
In the state of Virginia.
in this whole Commonwealth a $3,000 bonus. And we have non-comp board deputies that do the same job that would not otherwise get that. But we have these ARPA funds that we can supplement that so that there's not a road deputy that gets the 3,000 and the other guy getting shot at or pulling people over out in the middle of the night don't. That's the whole
It's
point.
perfect, makes perfect sense.
So we have motion and second. Ms. Willis, how do you vote?
I'm gonna abstain,
Ms. Sluz?
because I think it's gonna be a confusion with the other
I
employees.
think we'll help the other employees down the road.
Ms. Kaiser?
$3,000.
No, probably not $3,000.
Yes for Ms. Kaiser, Mr. Peters,
Yes.
and yes for me as well.
But this can be made payable when the others get their money.
I think that's
It will be,
the,
the timing will be,
Yes.
we'll coincide the timing with the comp
Well,
board.
and then I would like to make a motion that we now capture, and you can throw a dollar figure here if you want, that we also we recognize our other employees and give them hazardous duty pay. We gotta do, I'm looking for equity here.
Well, if
I
we
think
have
it's
a county,
$3,000.
if we have a county employee in an office, are we just giving that one employee, not the whole office?
No, it's the whole office.
The whole office. Yeah, cause all
Oh, this
employees.
is getting too,
So
What do you
what
think
did you
our-
say, Shelby, 1,000?
No, I said 3.
she said 3,
Okay.
well, I don't know if we can, that would take up a lot of money.
well,
It
I
is,
mean, how
but-
do you, how does one, like I said, how does one deputy?
Well, how is it?
I don't know.
understand the
You
General
asked-
Assembly did this, but last time we went down this long road, we tried criteria and then we ended up giving it to everyone, so now let's just, let's
What,
avoid
if
that.
we were gonna set another workshop to supposedly discuss some of these
There you
last
go.
ones that come in,
But this
give us,
one
I
came
know.
last minute today too.
right.
No, it
the
comes,
other day.
you should,
Yes,
It wasn't?
did.
it comes the.
We'll let
But it wasn't
Larry
at our
give us
workshop.
some dollar scenarios if we
I'll have to
do.
run some numbers for y'all if anybody wants to get, whatever y'all want to do, but if you want to give me some scenarios, I'll be glad to run them and have them ready.
I just think there's a clear difference in, I mean, I'm sorry, but they're
Right, and
a
then-
deputy and somebody,
And then another issue you'll have to look at is making sure that each employee qualifies for
For the
hazardous
hazard
duties.
pay.
Right.
which deputy.
How would it be, when you say qualify, what are the qualifications?
Well, just my thoughts, we still have some departments that are still having people work at home. We've still got some people that haven't came back.
Oh, yeah, if they're not coming into work.
And- and-
Yeah, I
and that-
agree.
And
I
that
agree.
disqualifies them under those guidelines, is my understanding.
Do we still have employees that's not
They're
coming back
disqualified
to
if
work?
they're
DSS
working
does
from
have
home?
some.
Because they're not putting themselves in hazardous duty
Yes, that says
situations.
people that's
My
not working
understanding
from
that they
home.
do.
You're right, I thought they were back, I thought they were back to work.
I was told today there's still some that hasn't came back, so.
Oh, I bet they come back if they hear this.
All right, so we're ready to move on. Is there other motions for the ARPA
Well, my
appropriations?
motion died. Okay.
Well, you withdrew it.
Well, no,
Well, no, I didn't make a motion.
I made another
Ron
motion.
made a motion.
I withdrew the sub.
Oh, okay.
motion, Yeah.
Yes, sir. So yes.
Yeah.
About that?
So
They
that's
didn't
fine.
formally do that, but yeah, you,
You just
what was
Yeah,
your
said-
motion?
and that's fine. I made a motion that we do the rest, do it for our other employees.
Okay, so is there a second to
Yeah.
Mr. Peters'
I think we
motion?
need some stuff.
We're good.
done by
Let's
Larry
press.
before we-
All right. All right, any other motions on the
Did
ARPA?
you, make the motion, Ron?
Yes?
Yes.
Do you want, I'll open it back up. Do you want, is there a second?
Well, I second his motion.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, then, I guess you gotta take a vote.
Second for.
If he withdrew it, does he not have to make the motion
Well, no, he
again?
made another one. He withdrew one and then I made
I
one. and it
withdrew
was
the
voted.
substitute motion,
That's
I
why we
made
should
another
have
motion.
discussed these before
Right.
they ever were brought
Because
up.
that, tying them together was the
Because you
wrong
still
way to
had
go.
time.
To me, it makes sense that we table it until you get more information if it's not pressing, but at the same time, it's up to you all,
We need to
but
get more information.
All right, so we have a motion and second. Let's vote on it. Ms.
Well,
Willis?
I'll make a secondary motion that we table it until we get our figures at our next
All right,
workshop.
and
I'll second her.
All right, so we have a motion, have a substitute motion to table the additional monies to other employees
Can
in
we
a
get more
second.
information?
Ms. Willis, how do you vote?
I'm gonna pass right now.
I'm gonna vote yes.
Ms. Sluss?
Yes.
Ms. Kaiser?
Yes.
Mr. Peters?
No.
Yes for me, so the motion would carry.
Good.
Do you want to vote, just for the
No, I'll
record?
just-
Do you
I'm
want to
fine.
vote for the record?
No,
So you vote no, or you don't want to vote?
I don't wanna table it, I mean,
So you vote no.
I don't think we should have ever brought it up until we discussed it at a workshop.
So do you vote no, or do you not
yes,
vote?
Michelle, because
The record needs to be clear. Do you want to say that you had a meeting and you didn't vote at all?
I took her vote that she abstained from that vote.
She said pass, so I don't know.
You
Which
have
is
to
an
come back to
abstention.
me, so
And
yes,
that's
I'll
what I'm
vote.
doing now.
I'll vote yes, we table it.
All right, four. Any other motions on ARPA funds?
We should
Wait,
have
do I
tabled
don't- we have to
all
go
of them
through the
until
other
it was
ones?
discussed.
Well, that's up to you all.
well,
Well,
we have that
I thought we had to go
discussed,
through the
these
ones we
come in.
reviewed.
Go ahead, Larry.
Okay, we'll go with what we talked about in the workshop. The first request we had in the packet was from Emergency Management for $573.12. This would be to purchase 3 pallets of bottled water for our first responders. And I think everyone seemed in favor of that at the workshop.
How much was it?
$573.12.
You don't have a copy of that.
I've got it
We got
somewhere.
those. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't bring that
I
back.
didn't bring it either.
I make a motion that we do that, because you're gonna vote individually, right?
We'll vote individually on
Okay, I
these.
make a motion on that first one that you just said, $573.
So that's for emergency
I'll second
management.
it.
Just to clarify, it's for a pallet of water through our emergency management director.
$573.12.
There's a motion and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. As well.
The next one we looked at was for the Dickinson County Youth Soccer League for $1,000. Purchase equipment, insurance, due to the fact of COVID, they weren't able to open.
I'll make a motion, we approve that one.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second to approve $1,000 for organizational monies for our youth soccer league. Is there a second? Excuse me, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye as well.
Okay. The next request we have is from Dickinson County Fair for $25,000. I think I heard y'all may want to
Yeah, I
hold
think,
that one until.
Hold it till the 501c3.
correct.
Yeah.
But I do want us to, well, go ahead.
The next one is for the Dickinson County Fair for $10,000, and I'm assuming
Yes.
that's on that one.
Yeah.
All right, the next one is for the town of Klitschko for $51,040, and that is for playground equipment.
I
I'll
make a
make-
motion that we, approve that one.
I'll let you pay.
I'll second it.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye as well.
Okay. The next request I have is from the Health Wagon for $147,833.33. And at our workshop, we had a lot of discussion on this. I did reach out Monday. None of our surrounding counties have taken this up yet. One county has not done anything with the request. Won't do that until October. The other two haven't done anything. And
This was that one that we agreed on half of what they asked
we,
for.
and yes,
I make a
You
motion
made that
that we
motion,
give
but I
this.
think we have to understand that Wise County has a lot more people in it than we do.
Yeah, I think a pro
I think it
rata.
should be prorated according to our population and what they serve. I don't think we should just throw them out $147,000 and,
I'd like to get the
We
other
don't need
I
to
county.
think that was
Wise
the purpose in our meeting the other day, we all agreed and
Well-
discussed
Well,
that.
I think what we were going to try to get the other county data, wasn't it?
yeah,
I
we
mean,
just want to see what the other counties did, but they haven't done anything, right?
I'll just add that we are seeing a lot of cases again now, and the hospitals are
We
filling
don't
up.
want to pay for Wise County stuff.
So it
I
may
think I made
be,
a motion that we approve that one,
The whole amount,
the amount that we agreed on.
which
Half.
it's got
was,
half in
Half.
the,
You said half, but
Well, what's the
I don't-
number?
I don't-
One million,
Could be-
one
147,000, half of that would be,
74,000
But she needs to
roughly.
No, they
clarify.
asked for 300,000.
No, that's
No, that's for 147,833.33. That'd be
I'm
73,916.67.
gonna wait to see what other counties do themselves. I don't know.
I make a motion that we give them the 73,916.
Okay.
There's a motion on the
I'll second
floor. Ms. Willis,
Aye.
Ms. Sluss,
No,
Ms.
I'll wait
Kaiser?
and see.
aye.
Mr. Peters.
I
I agree with Ms. Sluss. I'd like to wait. I'll vote no, but the
I
motion
would
we
like you to
carry.
reach out to them too, Larry, because they
Motion
did
will carry
ask for
the no
more.
for me.
See what the other counties do, and we'll look at
We'll
that.
reevaluate
It's not
again.
that I'm against it, I just like to see what the other counties do. And
We, initially, the last time, we were real hesitant to help the help wagon, and they kind of came through for us.
Yeah, they did.
on the
I agree with
COVID. So,
Okay. I sure
as
will
the
reach out
board,
to them,
we
let them
we
know.
hesitated, and we
Okay. The next request was from Workforce Development in the amount of $300,000. It was to support 3 programs at $100,000 each. One was the youth program,
this is coming from Jim.
the Cars to Work program,
Me too.
and the Small Business Empowerment Expansion.
He said this one he would not
At our
get.
discussion, didn't we agree on half of that one, which was 150?
We had discussed half on that.
I think they should show us what they're gonna do with it.
I mean,
Throw this
I'm
money
gonna make a
in.
motion that we appropriate the $150,000.
so what is that going for?
That's $300,000.
The,
One
I
was
mean,
to buy
what would that
cars,
$150,000 go for?
one buy cars,
We discussed it the other day.
100,000 buy cars, wasn't it?
Well, then tell me what it was
It'd be
for.
50.
I think they should give us some
He's
data
got
on what
the
they're
papers
doing.
right
Yeah, the
there.
50,000 Cars to Work program would enable them to people that are trying to get work that do not have transportation for,
Get nobody work.
But there's job openings everywhere.
And all this money goes to Dickinson County.
it does stay within the county, it's a need within the county.
Yes.
The people would get the car
Why did y'all
and be expected to make payments on that car, and
Why did you not disagree
then
with that when we had
the
the
other
discussion?
50,000 would be the
Well,
Small
we had to
Business
think it over a little
Expansion Empowerment Proposal, which would be requests of up to $10,000
No, we
to
didn't waste
existing
our
small
time.
businesses who are negatively impacted by COVID-19.
It's your opinion.
And the third $50,000 request would be to help youth from ages 14 to 24 in school that are either school dropout, basic skills deficient, offender, homeless, pregnant or parenting, documented disability, or English language learner. That's the 3 programs that we're requesting funding for.
So you made a motion for 150, Ms. Willis,
Yes, I did.
and is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? I just don't know enough about this.
Well,
I know we talked about it the other day, but
I just wanted to make sure.
I think they need to
I
show us.
am on the Clio board to the Southwest Workforce. Do I need to abstain?
You're not gonna reap any funds from it.
No,
No.
no, I will not.
I think you're fine.
Okay,
as far as
all right. So we have a move and second on that already?
Ms.
Okay.
Willis,
Aye.
Ms. Sluss,
Sure. I'm gonna say no.
Ms. Kaiser,
Yes.
Mr. Peters.
Yes.
Yes for me as well. So Larry, can you give us a tally of where we are? That would be the last one, I think, right?
That's the
Well,
last
the
one,
other-
except
We need to talk about
we
some others.
discussed the fair with Ms. Mullins, and we abstained on the other 2, but I think there was,
Yeah, I think we need to,
we talked about that one that day of the workshop, and you'll see it later that day. You can have it. So
$1,800?
there's one for $1,800 for them, and $1,500 would be to help the horse show this upcoming weekend, and then $300 for the 501c3 reinstatement.
So the horse show, is that an acceptable ARPA expense?
It would fit the
outdoor
criteria though.
activities.
Is that this weekend?
Yes.
The horse show?
28.
And the fair, I mean, the
The beauty
pageant,
pageant.
Isn't it the 28?
yes.
Is there a motion then?
Mr. Chair, right now, with what we've talked about tonight, we're at $276,529.
And that
What
leaves
we
our-
have spent.
Our balance about, what,
That brings in right around the million, because, well, a little less than a million, we had $1,230,000 going into that, so that gives about $960,000.
Thought we had to back up and pay about 160, didn't we? Who, from last year?
No, that's what we've spent so far out of our, we got $1,390,000, and we've spent $160,275 today.
Okay, so is there a motion for the, what was it, 1,800?
$1,800 for the fair
I'll make a
committee.
motion that we approve that.
I'll second that.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye as well.
Mr. Stevens, I think you had one special you wanted to do.
Yeah, the fire department.
Hayside Fire for $19,000.
Well, first, I think since Richie's here, I would say on the hay side, we need to proceed because they've been asking for this for a year and a half. And they got bottles going dead. How critical is Nathan's? I mean, can it wait another month? We see what we got? Yeah, those ones I think we need to proceed with.
I think so,
But then the other ones, as you
Did
suggested, we
Klitschko
can
and Clintwood
table.
both get some under a grant previously you were sharing with me, so those are probably longer. While he's checking that, do you want to proceed with the 19,000?
Yeah, I would make a motion, we approve the 19,000 for the Hayside air bottles. This is something that was brought up in the budget this last year and the year before. Their bottles go dead in September.
This is the Klitschko or Hayside?
This is
Hayside.
Hayside.
Wait, Klitschko asking for bottles too?
What?
Klitschko phoned their fire department buying spare air bottles.
That's what
too.
he's checking, Klitschko's.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
For
Hayside.
scuba,
right
that
now.
her pets, it says. I think
And
it's
I-
right.
And I'm not saying I'm opposed to Klitschko's either, I'm just saying, you guys wanted to wait on some of them, but I think the Hayside one we need to jump forward on.
So you make a motion?
I did, I thought I did, I made a motion.
Yeah, you
Is
did.
there a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
As well.
And I don't know, is there any, I mean, you got one for the VFW here, I think those ones can wait.
I'd like to, the VFW is in desperate need to open their building back up. And I'm sure Ron probably can't vote on this,
Yeah.
but I would like for us to go ahead, and they can't have their military funerals or anything right now. And they want to get back, I think, to having the military funerals, and they get a lot of requests for it. I would like to do half of that one tonight.
Is that
Why-
the
why
one
you
with
like-
Alan Tickle you're talking
Yes.
Why
about?
don't we just do the whole thing?
Why
I mean,
not
it's
5,000, or
straightforward.
is it $5,000?
Well, I was gonna be conservative since we're
I
spending
make
so
them
much.
give them $5,000.
Well, I make
All
a
right.
motion, we give them 5,000 to open their
Too
building
late to
back
be
up.
conservative now.
Because they always sold Betty Poppies
God
at Food
almighty.
Cities to make their money, and they have not been allowed to do so.
So your motion's to give them the 5.
Yes.
I second it.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Just give them
Aye as well.
aye.
And I abstain because I'm the commander of
So
the VFW.
401, Ms. Clerk.
And, Mr. Chair, that brings our total tonight. that
Teresa,
we've
you got
approved
me abstaining on that?
I did.
To
Okay,
300,529.79.
and the others, I guess we wait.
What's 300,000?
And that brings our balance to,
Bring our available balance down to approximately $930,000.
Well, these aren't real large.
all right, are we ready to move on from ARPA? Larry, is
I
that, you
think
got
so.
everything clear on that?
And we can schedule another workshop.
I'd like to schedule that tonight before we leave, probably, at least get an idea of.
We're gonna talk about later the Clintwood Fire Department's request and
In the workshop, I think we need to
Sandy Ridge.
get some more detail on those.
Yeah,
I think we need to check in some
and you know
stuff.
what would be nice on that one? We bought a ventilator already, are they really using them that often? I'm not against it. I
hopefully
don't,
Ron Kendrick will be here and can tell us, because I don't know.
you know what I'm saying?
I do, and we can
Yeah,
invite him to the meeting,
because
anybody that has an
I want us to
application.
be ready if we need them, but I don't want, that's all.
A stockpile.
All right, well, I know we're talking ARPA, let's go ahead and,
Stockpile.
let's check our calendars for a workshop
That's in
on
New York.
ARPA. Do y'all got your calendars?
Yes, I got mine.
Oh, are we at that point?
Well, since we're on ARPA.
Because we
let's-
normally do that after we get done the night, set our next meetings.
Well, we can, this
Yeah.
is an ARPA special, I mean, we're still on the.
Well, let's look. So what are
What
you
about the
thinking?
afternoon of, well, let's see. Labor Day.
A lot of times, if it's a workshop, if we can do it earlier, it won't get in conflict with other afternoon meetings, these other committee meetings.
Yeah,
Because if you're traveling to these committee meetings, usually,
What about the afternoon of September the 16th, or you want to do the morning though, right? You said?
yeah, I can do the morning, but I've gotta be somewhere at 5 o'clock in Lebanon.
On the 16th.
Is our
Yes.
meeting on the 28th, where you want to do the week before the meeting like you
That's
did this
kind of what I
time?
was
or-
thinking. What about the afternoon of the 23rd? I can't do mornings. I'm in court every morning. There's
Oh,
just
okay.
no way. Afternoon of the 23rd, sorry.
No, that's a Cumberland Plateau meeting probably for Shelby and me. I'm not positive, but it probably is.
It's gonna be here if we get to have it. I mean, it's gonna be in Dickinson.
Yeah,
What about the morning of the 16th?
I have an eye appointment one day in September, but I'm not
Oh.
sure when it is.
You talking about September 16th?
morning of the 16th. I can do it in the morning of 16th, and it can be like a late morning. I
Yeah,
just,
can we do 10 o'clock?
yeah, that'll work as long as we're done by 3 or so.
Is that okay with everybody? 10 o'clock the 16th? Is that your eye appointment?
No, I don't think so. I think it's 23rd.
So does that work for
So board,
everybody?
our workshop will be on the 16th at 10 a.m.
If that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't have anything down, so maybe it's all right.
And just to clarify, that's gonna be a workshop and then we're gonna have.
Then we would
vote on
vote
it. Right.
like we did.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
No need to have a workshop because they changed the
All right, all right, let's move to item 14, if everybody's ready. We have the letter from Cumberland Plateau. This is Opera still technically, I guess, right?
Yes, it is, yes, that's the request for action.
I mean, my thoughts on this, I don't wanna spend this money. They're telling us that 95% of the county should be covered on the previous body award. I can't see committing $100,000 more unless, I mean, we don't even know, how do we even know that $100,000 is gonna be used in Dickinson County? I mean, those are my thoughts on it. I don't know what anybody else thinks. I mean, isn't that right, Larry? They're telling us 95% of the county was
From what I
covered.
understood, we're gonna be about 90% covered, and what Jim Baldwin, I spoke with him again this evening, just try to get one last update to see where we were before our meeting. And he had indicated that their goal is to get to 95% universal broadband coverage. And, you know, he assured that, you know, if we did pay the $100,000, that Dickinson County would be getting, you know, a portion of that. He anticipates that to be between a $25 and a $30 million application. The last one, I think, was 16.2 million, is what the body that they're working on now is. And he did indicate, you know, they're asking for $100,000 from each of the 4 counties. And so far, Tazewell and Russell have committed, and McKinnon anticipates to commit when they meet in 2 weeks. And Mr. Cherry, bring up a good point. We have struggled. We've had multiple meetings.
I'm gonna tell you guys, I even tried initially to get a meeting with all of you, so you guys wouldn't be in the dark on this, and we couldn't get that, so. I don't know what else to say, it's up to you guys what you want to do.
I'm not voting for it.
Wait, I'm a little confused though.
I'm
What are
kind
you
of
saying, Ron?
I'm kind of like you, you ask for a cheeseburger on Monday, and the guy promises he's gonna give it to you, and then the next week he asks you again, and you never got the first
So
one.
they're asking us-
Exactly, that's
They're
exactly
asking us
right.
to give what here?
$100,000.
$100,000, and with it, we're supposed to get 95%?
No, we're already supposed to get 90%.
Here's the thing you need to think about. We were told, me and Larry, 90% already with the current grants. What is 5% more? That's kind of an ambiguous term. It doesn't, we need to know where the rubber meets the road. Where are they going? We don't even know what they're doing right now.
Yeah, where are they right now? Laurie, you said that they were skipping around or something?
Yeah, Ron had shared. Ron, you probably
Well,
explained
I
that.
don't have that information with me, but we know that probably near June, they finished in Bartlett, Greenbrier, and, what's the other area? Breaks. And then we show up to the last month meeting, and we find out that they're gonna leapfrog over to Brushy Ridge.
No, Ralph Stanley Highway. they-
Yeah, Ralph Stanley
Yeah, Ralph
Highway.
Stanley Highway.
Scott County, what?
The first, that was the
Well, that's
first
what we, so,
thing that was
and that
done.
was, we, initially, before that, we were told they were gonna move east to west. Now, yeah, they did that, but
That's the
we didn't
original
know they were
plan.
gonna leave all these people unattended in
And other
between.
places got
I
internet.
know, and the thing is,
And also, we asked them, were they staying in Dickinson County? And that guy that was there, that they said, no, said if we need them someplace else, we can pull them out and take them someplace else.
yeah, and these were supposed to be simultaneously installing in every county. And here's the thing, you really don't know because the way the Cumberland Plateau works is we're all pitching in money together. Those are all our funds. And so they're not gonna look at, well, we did 5 in Dickinson, or Russell, we're gonna do 5 in Dickinson. It doesn't work that way.
And that's why I'm against
So I
it.
don't know that our $100,000 and that 5% is really equating.
Well, we don't even know where they're at now.
Mr. Sturgill, can we FOIA AEP?
They're
Yes. Well, I mean, as far, AEP, let me
That's a
try to think.
corporation.
It's not a public agency, are they?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no, you can only FOIA public agencies.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to, I'm at the point where I think Point Broadband needs to act like a partner and work with us on what we're doing. And I've asked for it for over a year and a half and got
Yeah.
nowhere.
We've got nowhere.
That's why would we give them more money then?
That's my Ron's
All right, let's
opinion.
pay this, there's no motions in on this.
No motion on that?
So we'll move on to item,
We
right?
could vote on it and say no.
Well, somebody, you'd
I
have
say
to
we just
have,
don't make a motion.
well, you can't do that. I mean, you have to.
No, I understand, I'm fine.
All right, so
And I'll see if I can find out more Thursday, shall we do,
item
We're
15,
gonna be,
virtual.
yeah.
Larry, do you want to,
I will. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Our next item is our Davenport proposal. We talked about this at our workshop, but basically we have 3 components. We have the custody agreement, the custody account, and the summary of scenarios, which is the investment of funds. So we would need three separate motions on this, and we'll, any discussion you have, we'll be glad to get into that. But the first is the custody agreement.
I'll make a motion, we approve the custody agreement.
Any changes from our discussion before?
No changes from our discussion.
I'll second that.
Any,
all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, well.
The next item is the custody account, which is the terms of the account and the disclosures with them. Nothing has changed on this either since our discussion.
I make a motion that we approve the custody account.
Well, you need to, was that scenario 2 that we need to specify?
That's
No, it'd be on
Okay.
C, Mr. Chair.
C.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye as well.
And then lastly, we do have option C, or I'm sorry, 15C. And this is when we have the 3 scenarios, the scenario 1, scenario 2, and scenario 3. And of course, we were bringing the recommendation of the scenario 2, which is 50% long-term and 50% short-term due to the volatility of interest rates being so low right now. And that gives an estimated earnings of $151,905.
So we,
Over the term.
we sort of, I'll make a motion that we do scenario 2.
And Larry, just so sort of, when everybody's not, this is investment.
Yes,
These
this
are
is investment.
QSCAD monies from the school debt, right?
It is, because when Ritchie was constructed, there were QSCAB, which is Qualified School Construction Bonds, that were acquired. $10 million, I think, was the original amount, and the payback period on that, when the project was fully funded from the Corps, there was very stiff prepayment penalties if those QSCABs were prepaid, because they were actually bonds that had been issued. So therefore, we're having to retire them. We're making 2 interest payments and 1 principal payment per year. What we're looking to do, rather than that money sitting in the account, not earning any interest and actually costing money right now because the bank's charging us for the FDIC insurance, at trying to invest this. And of course, things were different a couple of years ago with interest rates, and there could have been, $500,000 earned, but, now we could earn about $152,000, which is better than paying money for it to sit in our account.
and
So-
you're recommending option 2?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You made a motion, Ms. Lewis.
Yeah, I made a motion to do scenario 2.
Is there a
I'll
second?
second it.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Aye as well.
Thank you.
That takes us to item 16, appointments. 16A is Spearhead.
I would like to appoint.
This is Jeff Newberry's appointment.
I asked, I don't think he's interested in it, and I would like to suggest Kelly Rose.
Well, that's who we wanted last time, and
Well, this is for how long the term is.
this'll be, I guess is it 3 years?
Well,
I think this
will-
one is 3 years.
I would like
think.
to nominate Kelly Rose.
I'll
The
see.
one that Jeff needed to be on is not this one, so,
Oh, he don't want to be
no,
on it.
I know.
Well, did y'all talk to him, see if he?
I talked to him.
Yeah,
Okay.
he and it was another board
I
that
talked to
Larry
him
Yates is
today.
on that he wanted to be on. It has to do with it.
So I have a motion and a second for Ms. Rose. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye as well. The next one is one we still don't really know what they do, but
How many times does this come up?
I
Hey,
don't know.
and just so you understand, this item is a contractual requirement between Point Broadband and Cumberland Plateau
And they're not even.
to have these people and use them, and they weren't using them. And in some of the counties, I don't even think had them appointed or a complete set. So it isn't that critical right now. So if you just still need to think
I don't
about
believe
it,
they're even meeting, are they?
no, they hadn't been for a long time.
So does that get tabled to another month?
We'll table that one again.
We gotta find someone to fill it, but
Oh, the
it's
other
not,
person that we talked about last month doesn't want it now?
He
Oh, I
indicated
don't know.
I have reached out to him several times. I've not been able to make contact back with him.
Larry Edwards is one we talked, he don't want to.
yeah.
So you've talked to him?
No, I don't, I'm just saying he would have
Yeah,
said something
he
if he
would've got
wanted to. Matt
Yeah.
Fuller doesn't want to, so.
So do we want to have a motion to table this in?
I'll make a motion, we table it one more month.
I'll second it. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
As well.
And here's the thing I'll tell you on this one too.
Eric was real good on this.
Eventually, and maybe we just let it die and wait for them to ask for that person.
And then bring it back up.
Yes, you know, so that's just, I'll throw that out
Try it one
there.
more month if we don't.
Because
feel
they're
it.
not screaming at you for it,
They're not meeting. so.
because they're not using them.
So you all have your executive meeting on Thursday?
Thursday, it's the,
So can somebody not ask Jim Baldwin or whoever where Point Broadband is coming in Dickinson County?
What do you think me and Shelby been doing for a year and a
Well, I
half?
don't know.
We've
All
been
I hear is how
asking.
good you all do at it, and then we don't get
that's
nothing.
why I wanted to
We've been
know how many
screaming about it.
polls requests they had for each
I've
county.
had meetings with Larry and
That's why I
him.
was asking about
I mean,
FOIA
Josh,
requests.
man.
So
Well,
when,
no,
I
when the
thought Jim
full
today.
board met,
I know.
Josh, a month or two ago, Joseph Puckett wasn't even there and didn't send a report for Joe Baldwin
I just seen
Jim
where,
Baldwin to, relate to the meeting.
I just read in the Buchanan County newspaper, they're getting 4 new cell towers in Buchanan County. Well, I mean, what are we getting?
Well,
We need cell towers.
that's a
I
different
mean,
board.
you
That's
all
a-
say all the time how much effective you all
No,
are on that
that's
board.
not.
Well,
But
now,
nobody else gets
to their
nothing. We don't get
credit-
nothing.
To their credit, Boo and Jesse said they were very vocal.
Yeah.
Well, are we getting anything done or
Now,
not?
on the cell towers, that's a different board, Josh.
What's come on plateaus, what
It
Scotty
is,
Wampler
but
was
it-
quoted in
But
the
it's on the
newspaper article.
VCC board, which we're on, but the priority's been to do the 460 corridor for a long time. That's what you're talking about.
Scotty Wampler, Cumberland Plateau Planning District, staff member confirmed 4 new cell towers between, Twin Valley High School and the 460 connector, in Buchanan County.
Well, I wasn't trying to say we weren't on it, Josh. What I was trying to say is
Well,
that.
how'd
has-
they get there?
cell-
That's what I'm asking.
We need it too.
We do, but here's, just
They
to
got
give
one
you,
already.
just to give you a history lesson, I don't remember what a tower cost, but I think it was about $1 million or something.
Something like that.
Well, how does
And they
Buchanan
put
County get?
let me finish, please. They put $1 million in a tower at Oakwood. And they can't even get a phone call down on the highway below it. Only I think maybe the pharmacy gets a little better service.
Why-
The
why
pharmacy
they-
school.
They put it in for the
So
pharmacy. not
that's what the
people.
priority's been, is to fix that corridor because of the traffic going through it. Because you drive through there, I know I had,
Well, we've got deputies out on 63 that
I
can't get
understand,
cell
but-
service.
but that's been where the priority's been on that. Not that I
Oh,
don't wanna
they
work
got
other
that,
ones.
that red onion, on top of red onion, covered.
The other thing is they haven't, I'm not the chairman, and they haven't had a meeting in about 6 months on
You
that
was the
board.
chairman though, wasn't you?
No, we're not the chairman on that one.
Steve Breeding is now.
Yeah.
All right, move to item 17, leases. I think the first one is, I'm not sure, I don't see the lease in here. If it is, I don't see it.
It's
I
just
see
a
a letter.
private lease that we have. I make a motion that we renew the lease with Richard Edwards.
What's the lease
and Rita.
for? Does
What do
anybody
they
know?
lease?
They lease a place for
Property where the recycling trailers are.
recycling. They had a recycling bin down there and we leased a
I don't know anything about it.
place off of them to.
We lease it from them?
They leased a place off of the Board of Supervisors, right?
No, we leased it off
We leased to
Richard.
them? Oh,
Yes,
we're not doing any recycling.
How much is the lease?
but they put a bin down there.
It's $1, I think, but here's something I was gonna comment on these leases. We gotta quit approving pieces of paper. We should be seeing the lease.
Yeah, that's what I don't know where the lease,
Yeah.
I don't even see the lease.
I know this one was for a recycling bin that
It
they had
is,
down
it
there.
is, and
that
it's
was
not
used.
there right now
Yeah.
because, it's been pulled
We're
back
not
to the truck
recycling.
shop because
Yeah.
recycling's non-profitable.
So why are we
So-
leasing property we don't do anything with?
If I understand, we better make sure first, but if I recall right, it's $1 lease, so it's not something insignificant.
But
So,
I guess if we're leasing it, then we're assuming liability for the premises.
well,
So
that's why
would
we should be looking at the lease each
Why would,
time.
well, that's what I'm
We'll
asking.
table-
Yeah,
we'll table
yeah,
these
yeah.
till next month.
So maybe we wait on next month on those.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, why would we expose ourselves to
I
liability for
agree,
something we don't?
I agree.
So we have a motion on that? You had a motion, I think.
Yes, I did.
Is there a second? So the motion would fail. Do we want to have a motion to table that?
I make a motion that we table these leases until, and next month, bring the leases.
All four of them?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because none
Yeah.
of them has it on here.
yeah, and I just think we need to, unless we're,
I agree. So
we
there's,
we gotta get in our motion of doing things the right way and reviewing this each time.
What's the age cap?
so Ms. Willis's motion
They
failed
lease
for lack of a second, and then we have a motion by Mr. Peters to table these
Playground.
until we can review the lease, and I agree
For
with
the
that.
school used to be there.
Are you
Yeah, they
seconding
leased
it then?
that from us.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. As well, we'll table those leases. Item 18, Mr. Barton.
But this, item 18 is going to be agreement with Atlantic Election Services. And this is basically an agreement for this next upcoming year that we're in to provide services for all of our election machines, or our voting machines, and all the services throughout the elections. This is the same agreement, same company that we have worked with in the past. Kayla says, not really had any issues with them, and the electoral board is sending this to us at their recommendation that we adopt.
The only question I had on this, Larry, is there any changes, we're gonna need more machines or that with everything coming?
This does cover everything.
It covers everything,
On that
okay.
is what she said, because adding the Longsport precinct, she was waiting
Okay.
on that before she got the lease.
Well,
I'm
she's
good with
gonna
it.
take some of the computers from up on the ridge, because we won't need as many.
How did you, I know this is not technically, but how did you draw those lines? I'm just curious, like, where's the cutoff for Longsport? And if you don't know, it's fine.
No,
It's not
Long's
even.
Fork is the same as
I
it's
know,
always
but
been.
what was it? Was it like the railroad tracks or something on Rock House?
On Rock House's railroad
Yeah.
tracks,
I
yeah.
was just off, that's off.
And then, used to now, half of 72 still came to the ridge, but I put everybody out in Long's
Yeah,
Fork.
that makes sense. So you had a motion, Mr. Peters, to approve this?
Yeah, I'll make a motion, we approve it.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. As well. That takes us to item 19. We have our supplemental packet here, I believe. Is that right? No?
19, we have the personnel policy, and what
Right.
it is, there was 2 changes in the policy which are in our supplemental packet, and they are in
Yeah,
red,
back on the green tab.
and they're highlighted in yellow. The first one is going with our dress code on this, and we had made this change last week. I talked to Mr. Peters this morning as well. He had a similar concern. But on footwear, we changed it to shall be appropriate to your job, casual or dress, slip-on or tie shoes, sandals, and clean athletic shoes in office settings. Appropriate boots shall be worn based on the type of work performed. And of course, that would be, based on the type, the truck shop and, sanitation is required to wear steel toe boots and, transfer station, things like that. We don't require our maintenance guys to do that. And it says after that, I guess on the next page, any questions regarding appropriate dress should be directed to the county administrator. So again, this is just a vague dress policy, nothing too specific, just to get something down. And then the second change that we had was on the vehicle usage policy. Mr. Sturgill had provided the first bullet there, due to insurance limitations and regulations, only Board of Supervisors employees, approved individuals, and business clients are allowed as passengers in Board of Supervisors vehicles. Passengers may only be approved by the county administrator except during an emergency situation with approval from the employee's immediate supervisor. And then the second change was to go ahead and reiterate, absolutely no tobacco use of any kind is allowed in a county vehicle.
So a motion to approve all these changes probably be appropriate.
I'll make a
And what we'll
motion.
have, Mr. Chair, if I'm on that, it is going to require 3 separate motions.
Oh, okay.
We'll have to
That's what I
adopt the
wanted to make sure.
computer usage, and then the
Okay.
vehicle usage, and then the personnel. So
I get open with
it's in the addendum portion there.
Right there on the front page.
Yeah, I had it.
And then the main personnel is in the.
So
I make a motion that we approve change the personnel policy on footwear. Is that what you're saying?
Actually, we've not approved anything, so we'll have to do the computer usage first.
Oh, I
That's the
gotcha.
policy. And then the
I got-
vehicle usage
Right there on the
policy, and then
front
the personnel will be the third.
Oh, I gotcha. So
You want to make a motion on the first one?
yeah, I'll make a motion on
The computer.
personnel policy, computer usage. I'm sorry. I thought you meant each individual.
Okay, I'm
Is there a
sorry.
second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye as well.
I make a motion that we approve the personal policy on vehicle usage.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
As well.
I make a motion we approve the personnel policy on personnel.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
As well.
Thank you.
I don't believe we had any other business. I guess, is there any other business anybody wants to discuss?
But we're not taking up anything else on.
We did the next meeting.
And you're right, we should have, but I just figured.
No, you're fine, you're fine.
Any other business? All right.
Anything with the, we don't have anything to add on that? CISA or anything?
I don't know. If anybody else does, now's the time. I mean, if there's anything else. Supervisor comments, Ms. Willis,
No.
Ms. Sluss.
No, I don't have, thank you. Joe's making progress, I'm gonna tell you, he's still home, and I appreciate everybody's prayers and concerns.
Ms. Kaiser.
No, I don't think so. We just all need to be safe in this county, not get our numbers back up.
What was
No worse.
the total today?
We had 3 today, 3 new cases today.
Yeah.
Have Jamie come on.
My wife's taking care of them regularly.
Where does she work at, Ron?
Norton Community Hospital. She's in ICU now.
According to-
And she's working
Lord.
he
a
said-
lot of hours. I
He
mean,
said-
she gets one day off
Every
and
hospital gets
then
$17,000
sometimes they're calling her in on that day.
That's true.
They're burnt, the nurses are burning out. That's
I
how.
can imagine they have to be.
They ain't got hardly got anybody
You got
working
anything?
at these
No, I
hospitals.
don't.
I've been
I don't.
before, and nobody working, can't get paid work.
Got out here a little quicker than normal. I appreciate everybody's patience. I thought we had a better beat on these ARPA requests. This is somewhat embarrassing, I guess. I probably should have just let the deputy, I didn't think about it from that angle. Not to say that I'm disagreeing with you, Ron, but I definitely.
Well, no, and I didn't want to affect theirs. I talked to Jeremy, and Jeremy, I kind of changed my position.
Yeah, I think.
I didn't
they-
want to affect yours, because I know you can't have some that got it and some that don't.
We had our workshop, and I'd hoped we'd be a little more, because we were
Well, it's 9:30, it's not like it's 10:30.
somewhat disorganized, I felt like, in our first round of CARES
Yes, we
Act, and I
was.
want to be more.
Well, it wasn't much better tonight.
That's what I'm saying, and I don't know that we were much better today, and
They're better.
I don't know what to do to fix that, but we have a limited amount of money, and we need to be pretty careful. I think Larry's done a good job with the applications, and I certainly appreciate that. That's cleaned this up a lot. But hopefully in our workshop, we can maybe get a little more organized and
Mr.
functional.
Chairman, let me read some figures for you. I get a total from Valley Health every day. In 7 days, they've had 25 to die of COVID. There are patients in the hospital, 283 with COVID. There's 34 admissions in 7 days. And there is discharge of 19 in 7 days. And COVID plus is 13. COVID patients with intensive care is 71. And COVID patients on ventilators is 51. Are you still getting that?
Bam, I'm getting that every day
Yeah,
as well.
I get
I
it
get
too.
that from them.
Larry, do you have any suggestions on what we as a board need to do to clean these ARPA? I just feel like tonight was just a bondugal of,
Well, I think
I know
with
we
the,
tried
I think with the workshop, I think we had more stuff coming in after the workshop. I think, in the future, maybe once we do our workshop and kind of get through all that, we're gonna have to kind of have a cutoff on that so that we don't get bogged down so much in the meeting with these.
Yeah, we probably
with
should have
these.
not discussed nothing beyond what we
Well, and I
discussed last
take
week.
some blame for, I wasn't sure when those payments frankly were gonna come to the other deputies, so I wanted to make sure the guys that weren't getting it were gonna get it. To me, it's fundamentally unfair, and but anyway.
Well, no, I agree. I wasn't against the
Because they
deputies
don't
getting
want
it.
to talk.
I just, the one thing I want to communicate too for the fire department, I'm not against the request from Klitschko either.
Well,
I
we'll
just
get to
knew
it.
that we owed bottles for Hayside from budget a year and a half ago, and we need it, and it's critical, because they're gonna have it next month.
I believe I remember them coming and saying that there
They
was
did.
going to be run out.
They're running out in September.
Yeah.
I called, when I seen the Klitschko request, I called Rocky Woods to see if he'd submitted one too, because I knew this, and I didn't even necessarily look at that as an ARPA request, but if we can pay for it through that, we do that. That
All
was
right.
something we knew we owed.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Or second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Ayes will. We're adjourned.